Yeah, let's start.
Thank you, sir. So, a very warm greetings to everyone present in this session today. I would like to thank especially Dinesh sir to giving me this opportunity to share my experience with every one of you. First of all, I would like to begin with congratulating everyone on qualifying this GATE exam. And now I think 50% of your part or your job is done. Now the rest is your further selecting your stream of interest and applying for a correct institute where you want to pursue your research. So today's session is about pursuing direct PhD here at IIT Kanpur. So myself, Shivam Suri, I have qualified GATE in aerospace engineering in 2022. And I scored all India rank of 339 in general category. I have pursued in my bachelor's in aerospace engineering. Now I am currently pursuing my PhD in aerodynamics with Dr. Tufan Goa. And I'm working on boundary layer suction control, which is an active flow control technique. Now, talking a bit about the Department of Aerospace, there are about 21 faculties and about 100 PhD students. See, these are some UG labs, and these are some of the research labs and national facilities which are available at IIT Kanpur. To mention a few: Unsteady Aerodynamics Lab, Autonomous Helicopter Facility, NWTF, and so on. And these are again some of the advanced labs and facilities we have available at IIT Kanpur. And coming to the specializations that are offered currently in PhD are aerodynamics, flight mechanics, propulsion structures, and the two which are recently added are aerothermodynamics and thermal sciences and computational mechanics. So to be eligible to apply for a direct PhD program, you should be having either BE or BTech degree in either of these specializations, let's say aerospace, mechanical, automobile production, and so on. And plus a gate score, a valid gate score is required as well. And if you want to pursue PhD with master's degree, so as you can see in the second paragraph, these are the specializations in which you should be having a master's degree to be able to apply for a PhD program. Some of the research areas that are the topics that are available to pursue research. So these are just to mention a few. However, there is no limit to on what you can work upon. So, for example, experimental aerodynamics, CFD, transition and turbulence, microfluids, acoustics, and so on. Some of the areas in flight mechanics are design and control, flight testing, unmanned autonomous aerial vehicles, space dynamics, and so on. Some of the areas that are offered in propulsion are experimental and computational combustion, emissions, flow diagnostics, thrust vectoring, electric propulsion, liquid atomization, and spray combustion, and so on. In coming to structures, some specializations available are material characterizations, aeroelasticity, damage modeling, design and dynamics of autonomous micro and mini air vehicles, and so on. Coming to the new research domains like computational mechanics, some options or topics that are available are computational material modeling, machine learning, composite, including multifunctional composites, plasticity, fatigue, optimization and inverse model, CFD, FEM, CA, wave mechanics, etc., etc. Coming to the aerothermodynamics and thermal sciences department specialization, some of the topics that are available are high speed flows, acoustics and noise, multi-phase flow, fire dynamics, detonation and explosions, etc. So these are just a few specialization topics that are being mentioned. However, there is no limit to which topic or research area you can work upon. Now we'd like to come to the selection procedure, how the uh, written and interview process is about. So in the written exam, first when you apply, you get selected for you will be called for a written exam first based on your gate score and your UG, CGPA, etc. So in the written exam, there is one section which is in mathematics, that is compulsory section, and there is other four specializations offered as fluid mechanics and aerodynamics, structures, flight mechanics, and propulsion. So out of these four, you have to solve for at least one or two only. Don't have to like solve all of the specializations. So one mathematics is compulsory, and another either one or two you have to solve from either these four specializations. So after your written interview is done, so maybe in a day or two, again you will be called back based on your written experience or written performance. You will be called back for the interview part. So how does this interview process goes on? So basically it goes on for about 15 to 40 minutes, and there will be about 3 to 5 panel members. So in the interview, what is actually tested is your basic understanding and fundamental concepts. So from now onwards, I would be speaking my personal experience based on the aerodynamics specialization interview. So the written experience goes on like this. So in the mathematics question section, I was asked the questions on linear algebra, vector calculus, differential equations like ODE and PDE, and then some questions on aptitude as well. And again, in the aerodynamics and fluid mechanics section, they were very starting from very few basic questions like governing equations, assumptions in the governing equations, then questions on Newton's law of viscosity, then streamlines and stream functions, stream tubes and such, and then questions on potential flow. And in aerodynamics, I was asked questions like simple question like nomenclatures, Kutta-Joukowski theorem, Prandtl lifting line theory, flow past a cylinder, flow past airfoil, and then Biot-Savart law. These are in incompressible flows. And again, in compressible flows, the questions were like sound propagation, Mach wave, normal and oblique shocks. So the format of the written exam was like mix of both MCQs as well as one-liner numerical type questions. So these are just the few topics that I have mentioned. So every year there is a full syllabus that has been put in the website. So you can always go and check full syllabus on the website. Now coming to the interview experience. So after the written part, there is your interview. So how does it start is first, there is an introduction. So in your introduction, you tell about your past project experiences. So once that part is done, so either they will continue on your past projects, otherwise they may start with something simple or something fundamental questions. So in my case, I was asked rotational versus irrotational flows difference. So what is the basic difference between rotational and irrotational flows? And then coming back, like coming to a flow past a circular cylinder. So in that, first I was asked to draw a streamline pattern. Then I was asked to draw the CP profile around the circular cylinder, then the boundary layer profile, both laminar and turbulent. So I was asked such kind of questions from a flow past a circular cylinder. Then it went on ahead with flow past an airfoil, in which I was asked to draw again a symmetric streamline pattern for a symmetric airfoil at zero angle of attack. Then again the CP profile and the boundary layer profile. Then I was asked to repeat these same profiles for different angles of attack, let's say at certain 10 degrees and at stall angle of attack. And I was asked what is the difference between the profiles and what I can decipher from the profiles at different angles of attack. And again, I was asked from the streamlines, where are the points where can I apply Bernoulli's equation, which points I cannot apply. So there are very few fundamental questions that I was asked. And then coming to flow past a flat plate. So in that, again, starting with the turbulent and boundary layer, laminar and turbulent boundary layer profile in an incompressible flow. And some questions that I was asked is as such, which profile would yield more shear stress? So again, now coming back to another topic, which was helicopter blade aerodynamics. So in that, I was asked to draw pressure distribution over a helicopter blade. And then some questions in compressible flows like what is normal and oblique shock waves, when does the shock form, what is the conditions that is required to form a shock, and what happens to the properties when there is a shock, let's say normal and oblique shock, what happens behind the shock. what happens to the properties like entropy, pressure, temperature, and such. So the ideal format or the procedure that was followed in my personal experience was it started with a simple and very easy and basic questions. It's tested our fundamental understanding of the specialization. Then, based on those questions, the level got built in step by step process. So that actually decides the duration of the interview. So I would have some important tips and suggestions for you. So I would like to say that you don't read too much. So whatever you know, whatever you have read so far, try to develop a stronghold over the fundamental concepts that you have read. And very important thing is that whatever you know and whatever the logic that you can build over something, so that you should try to blend in together. So let's say you know one concept and you should be able to apply that concept. So first thing is you should know that concept very well fundamentally, and then by building some logic you should be able to apply that logic. So basically you should be able to apply any concepts and try to develop what can happen in certain scenarios, in multiple in general scenarios. So I would suggest you could read only few good books or your self-made concise notes, and you should be very handy with the mathematical expressions or the formulas that are there. So let's say the entropy relation. So these expressions you should be handy with so that you can be ready to uh, continue if you are asked with any problems. And whenever you pursue any mistake, just accept your mistake and try to take on the hints that are being given by the interviewer. So you might be given some interviews if you are going in some wrong direction. You might be given some hints. Try to pick up those hints and carry forward. And the last thing I want to talk about is the statement of purpose. So this is a very important part of applying to any program. So whenever you are applying, you have to fill the form, and in that form there is a section where you have to put a statement of purpose. So what it is and how you should write a good statement of purpose. The first thing is the motivation. So that means what is the real motivation and what is it actually that led you till here to pursue any research in any specialization. So this is the first part. You need to understand and you need to deliver on your motivation. Then the second thing is if you have any past project or internship experience. If you have, otherwise it is fine. So even if you don't have, doesn't matter, it's okay. But if you have any project or internship experiences, you can try to put those experiences in your statement of purpose, and you can tell what was your gist or what you learned from those experiences. Next point is the research area and interest. So based on your past experiences, you choose your research area and the stream of interest that you want to work upon. Then you do little digging and you try to find out if there is any current research gap or lacks existing in the current research that are going on. You try to identify a problem. So let's say if you take example of flapping flight of birds. So you try to find some research lacks or gaps that are currently existing in the research, which you think is not the direction where the research is not going in currently. So if you can identify, you can write it. Otherwise, it is fine as well. So another thing is that you can write your future goals. So after you have identified the problem, you're going to pursue a research on that domain. And what are your future goals or targets that you're going to pursue in that domain? And the last thing is you should also write what is the contribution that you're going to give through your research. So here is a sample statement of purpose I would like to show you guys. So first, the first paragraph, this SOP mentions the motivation behind the research. So, and the second paragraph that goes on to start with the experiences or the specialization that you want to work upon. So let's say here, the specialization that has been mentioned is fluid mechanics and compressible flow domain. Then coming to the third paragraph, you see there is mention of experiences, the past internships or any industrial training experiences. So in one paragraph, you can conclude your internship and the outcomes or learnings that you got from your experience prior internships, and then you try to figure out that what is the current scenario in the specific domain that you want to work upon. So you mentioned that problem, what is the problem currently, and then you try to uh, set the future goals or targets for yourselves, that what you are going to pursue and up to what extent you are going to pursue the research. So this is a sample, very brief sense of statement of purpose that you should work upon. So this is how you should write an SOP according to me. So in like in a general case, I would like to mention. So once you like first you have know the motivation. So you have started digging in your specialization interest, stream interest. Then you find out the research lags or gaps that are available. So once you have identified the research gaps, let's say you want to work upon flapping flight of birds. Now, what you will do is you will go to different institutes. You will go to different profiles of the faculties. So, and then you find the research interest. So, I think what I'll do is I'll show you simple demonstration here. So, I will remove my slide here. I'll go to the website. So, this is a Department of Aerospace Engineering website of IIT Kanpur. So here I'll go to the people, then I'll go to faculty. Now let's say I want to work in aerodynamics area. So I'll go to the aerodynamics faculty. So once I'm in the aerodynamics faculty profiles, so what I'll do is I will try to identify potential professors or faculties with whom I can work on. So I will try to identify the research interest of particular faculties. So let's say I want to work in experimental aerodynamics. So I'll choose my stream of interest and I will try to read some of the research papers written by this professor. And then I will try to find aligning interests, my personal interests in research as well as the research interests of the faculties who are working in the same domain. So I'd go to that particular faculties and I would like to find the problems or the research areas that they are working upon. And based on that, you can mail them, sort of, you can ask uh, for this approval. If you want to work with them, you can send your statement of purpose to them as well directly, or you can send them in the form as well. So this is how I proceeded. So there can be different ways. So now I'd like to come back to the presentation. So that's it. So again, I would like to wish all the best to each one of you. I hope you succeed in all your endeavors further. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivam, for your excellent support and insightful session. So, if any question we'll take up. So, I think one question was regarding ISC aerospace. So, somebody having 792 gate score, so that person have good chances. Okay, usually for general cutoff is around 800, but the person may have OBC may get it. So any question, guys, who are watching this session, because somebody was asking for SOP. So I think you have answered well. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's all I think, Shivam, from our side. And if any question is there for you, I will share with you. Shivam,
Yes.
did you share me any interview question and all last year? If you have, and if you have anything, any sorts of questions or any detail you can share with me, I'll forward them. Okay.
Yes, sir. Like I am not
Yeah.
sure about last year, but if I have, I will share with you again. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. You might have attended multiple interviews. I have some already, I will share with them because this research guidance session we started with you only. Few we will do few more, like one for IIT Madras, one for IIT Kanpur MS, and maybe one for ISC. Then we'll share all required details. And now I guess even so many options are there. They need not to bother
Yes, sir.
that much. Even now, na, mm, IIT
Yes, sir.
Roorkee also started this year space engineering. IIT Indore is already there. IIT Dharwad is there. IIT Roper computational mechanics is very good course. IIT Hyderabad and so many, right? So they have, and IST also now going very well in terms of the placement and things. Many got improved. Yeah,
Yes. So
fine.
may I add like
So
just
I
one
will
line
suggest, or
from
you
my
should
side?
suggest one thing always. If you are really interested in research, then only they should opt for MS or direct PhD. You
Yes,
know
sir.
this fact, right? And that's what I
Yes,
always say. Otherwise, peacefully they go for MTech program and then they look for a good job. Yeah.
yes, sir.
So fine then, Shivam. All the best to you as well, and keep working hard and start your research as well. So you will be in good shape in coming time for your work. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So may I add one line from my side just as a suggestion to fellow students?
Yeah, sure, sure. You must.
Yes, sir. So like as I was saying that I was in a general category student and I got the rank about 339. So initial days I was again myself worried as well that which IIT I would get. But in a real sense, as Dinesh sir said, if you are really interested in pursuing research, then only you should opt for this MS or PhD. Now, if you are completely interested, so there are multiverse of plethora of options you can opt for. So there are masters, MS, then you have direct PhD. So these are the special, like different specialization programs which requires more amount of emphasis on time and research. So these options that you can get, so these are like relatively easier to get. So this is the thing that you should not lose your patience. So what I mean is that you can always apply to these programs and get into IITs. So this is where I have like found some of my fellow members to lack that uh, confidence that I would get into any IITs. So this is my personal experience. You keep hanging there and you keep applying, you may get into good places. Yes, thank you, sir.
Hello. There is one question in there, Shivam. Can you read that question from Niveda? My
Yes, sir.
professors, whom
Yes,
I
sir. I
gave
will
as
read.
referees, got a form to fill for me from IIT Kanpur. Does that mean I will get any call? Yes, you may get. That means Niveda, the IIT Kanpur professor may be IIT Kanpur admission uh, panel, or admin are interested in your profile.
Yes, sir. What I think, sir, faculties will be like shortlisting the profiles based on their prior experiences and the CGPA, these criteria and all. So based on that, I think
Yes.
you may get a call.
Yeah, Vijay, good evening.
Yes, sir.
That portal, right? Just a moment. Now only I'll share and I'll update. Okay, give me 2 minutes. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Huh? Thank you for reminding, because many things keep going always in. Yeah, sure. Okay. Huh? Sorry for that. Thank you. Bye bye.
So I'd like to respond to this question by Niveda, I think. So this is just like as a feedback for the student form that goes to the referees. This is just a feedback form that is sent to the referees. So you don't need to worry about that bit. So it's just a feedback that will be given for you. So I would think that this part is easily done. So you don't need to worry about that part at all.
So, guys, fine then. Any more question? Niveda, any more question? So, Niveda, now is it clear for you how to apply, what to do? Because you had these concerns, right? And did you contact with Tanya? She can further guide. Even Shivam is there at IIT Kanpur. If you look for any support, contact me for some. Yeah. Thank you, Shivam, for session, and thank you for your, always support back to IGC. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I
Thank you.
feel privileged to be a part of it.
Yeah, yeah, always see. I always told you all, don't worry about any rank. If you want to save your time, if you are really interested to do good research or to get in a good place, a valid gate score is good enough, or a decent gate score.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
where you guys followed my words, and I'm pretty happy for that, because IGC is not just uh, making people to drop year by year and tell, okay, this year you'll get again best, that year like that. We don't talk, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is based
If
on your
everybody
words only that you said, don't waste your year, just go somewhere. So this is what our motivation was, to go in a research
yeah,
domain as soon as possible.
good, good, good to hear, good to hear. Thank you. Huh?
Thank you, sir.